the first week or the first few months of the boot camp, I didn't think I was going. I didn't think I was smart enough to actually do it.
Candid conversations that might just change how you look at the world. Let's bridge cultures, transcend borders, and build a global family of changemakers. Welcome to If by Chance.
Getting fit and running a business can be challenging, especially in the beginning. But you don't have to do it alone. And in this conversation with Belal, he shares his journey in business and what he wishes he knew starting out.
I'm working on an app called Let's Gym, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just an app that helps people find gym partners. So like you can go on the app if you're looking for someone who works on strength. You can filter on like what you need or what you want in a gym partner, and you can easily find someone and start messaging to like try to get a workout in.
So I'm guessing you're living in quite a densely populated area.
Yeah, I am located in Denver, Colorado, in the U.S. So it's pretty populated. We launched in Denver on the first beta, and it like the MVP was like so crappy, but we got really good feedback because it's just where I live and I can go see and talk to users easily. But then I revamped it and actually like created an iOS app from scratch, and we launched in Denver, and we got a lot more positive feedback from it. So
how did you launch it?
So at first, like before I even started coding the app, I thought of the name just one day on a hike, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to think too deeply about the name because I can always change it if it doesn't, correlate to the customers. And I created a logo, and I just created my social media channels like Facebook and Instagram. That's the only two that we really have. And I just put on like a quick poll and an ad. It was like, hey, Denver, are you looking for a gym partner? And by the end of the week, we had like 75 people signed up, and I was only like ran like $10 worth of the ad. And I was like, wow, okay, that's a lot of people signed up for little to no ad money. So I was like, okay, people are interested.
Was that on Google or Facebook ads? Where did you advertise?
Facebook and Instagram.
So you're just targeting Denver to make sure that everybody's got somebody to match with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the proof of concept is like valuable, just because people are matching within Denver, or not matching because it's not a match-based system. Just because the original model that I had was just like dating apps like Tinder or whatever. You swipe left, swipe right, but the biggest issue with that is, someone might not be on the app every day. Someone might not swipe left or swipe right. So you'll have to match first before you message. And so like, if you're trying to find a workout partner, that could be a big roadblock just to find someone to work out with. So we try to make it as easy as possible. So now if you see someone you match with, you see their profile and you want to work out with them, you can just quickly message them and just try to get the ball rolling.
And are people paying for this now?
No, right now it's free. And I feel like the base model will always be free. Eventually, we'll have like a premium model and also advertisings to bring in revenue. But the core value of the app of just helping people find gym partners will always essentially be free.
And was there a reason why you decided to go direct to consumer instead of do a B2B model?
Yeah. So I originally thought of the idea, and I was reaching out to gyms just to see if they would do partnerships. But a lot of major gyms, they just said, yeah, we don't do partnerships, or we can put some flyers in the break room for our staff, but it's not necessarily doing anything for me. So I was just like, well, I didn't really see a value of partnering up with the gym just because I wasn't necessarily getting anything out of it. It was just the gym's staff would be able to see the advertisings or, things of that nature. So I know at the end of the day, the B2C is where I need to be. And I was going to utilize like gym and nutrition shops to get there. But it just seemed like that would be an extra hurdle to get to the consumers.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because to me, it's very similar to booking a class at the gym. And it's just an extra add-on. And it would seem a bit safer too, because the gym knows all the people who are members. They've got all the details of the people that you're
Right.
interacting with. And also, I don't know, imagine it's the same in the States as it is here in Australia. So we have gym brands where you get a membership and you travel
Oh, wow.
and you can use
Oh,
that
yeah.
brand of gym.
Mhm.
And that would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, because the gym I go to is called Choose Fitness out here, and they have plenty of different gyms in Colorado and in California and Arizona. And that was the first gym I wanted to like just partner with, just to get, like I said, I'll give you all flyers to just have on the desk, and I will also like sponsor your gym. And let's say like in advertisings where we have like a certain gym name, I will use Choose Fitness, but they declined it because they said they didn't see the value that we would bring to the gym. And my response to them was, well, people need to work out somewhere. They're not going to work out at home. So like if, let's say, I use a person from the gym meet someone who doesn't have a gym membership, they can bring that person who doesn't have a gym membership to your gym and get a day pass and see how it goes. So that's how I was pitching it, but it didn't, they didn't
fly.
bite. Yeah.
I think the interesting things about gyms in general is that if you look at their business model, it's almost like they don't want everybody to turn up either.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't sell as many memberships. So if your app actually encouraged more people to go to the gym, that might be a problem for them.
Yeah, because right now we're building what's the thing called? Like a new feature that's somewhat of a challenge. So like you can create a group, and if your groups records this many workouts, like it's pretty much like a leaderboard. So I can definitely see that being a challenge on the gym, just because the gym I go to, it's pretty reasonable size and it's never really packed. But I can definitely see it being packed in like a month. So
how long have you been working on this?
This for about 18 months, between 16 to 18 months. I had the idea. I pushed out just ads, like, a few dollars worth of ads to see if people are interested. And once I saw people are interested, I just started trying to build the app myself.
And what's your background?
So I went to the University of Memphis, and the degree that I got was in management information systems, but I learned how to code myself. I took a few boot camps and learned how to code.
Were there any particular ones that you thought were really good?
So the funny thing is I took a full stack development boot camp, but for developing this app, I didn't have to use any of that, just because the app that I built was in iOS and Swift. So it's a lot of that and Flutter code as well. But learning how to code like one language, I feel like, is a good gateway to learning how to code all the languages, because figuring out the syntax and figuring out the flow of things. After I figured out the first code, I was able to figure out all the other ones faster.
And was that boot camp free?
No, that boot camp was, I think it's either 800 or 1,000. I want to say I remember it being under 1,000 because I just got out of college and still wasn't really making a lot of money, and that was a pretty big investment. Just because, being early 20s, you could do a lot of things with $1,000. But I just took a chance and I said, well, let me stop playing video games all day and learn how to code.
And do you find now that you still have to pay to learn, or is there anyone that you follow?
No. Yeah, so like after the first boot camp, I would say the boot camp taught me the code, yes, but what it instilled confidence in me more than anything that I could code, just because the first week or the first few months of the boot camp, I didn't think I was I didn't think I was smart enough to actually do it. So I saw the professor online and I was like, man, he's making it seem so easy. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. But then I just kept sticking with it, being consistent. 30 minutes a day. I told myself, if I spend 30 minutes a day, I'll be okay at the end of it. So during that whole boot camp, we built 3 different projects throughout the course, like 3 big apps. And I built the first one. I was like, okay, I'm kind of confident. I built the second one. I was like, okay, I'm getting there. And then after the third one, I was like, all right, I got this. I was like Googling less. So I would say it built my confidence up. So like now trying to build an iOS app for an iPhone, I pretty much just Googled it. And there was some great videos on YouTube that helped me out.
It's amazing now how much information is out there.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's coding or there's, something wrong with your car, you can usually find
Ain't that the truth?
something. Now, the idea that you'd spend 30 minutes a day is really interesting because for people that code, often when you're stuck trying to solve a problem or get something done, time gets away from you really
1,000%.
fast. So did you find yourself just walking away from the keyboard or did you stay there till you sorted something out?
So it took me a while to figure out what worked best for me. I would say in the beginning, I would just get sucked in. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be literally all night. But once I realized that stepping away is probably the greatest thing that you could do. So like if I run into a problem or a bug, what I'll do is I'll try to identify, all right, what's going on. And then if I can't figure it out, I'll start a timer, 30 minutes. And if I can't figure it out within those 30 minutes, I'll just take a break for an hour, go work out, go play video games, do something, literally anything else besides think or work on the code. But then it could either be the same day or the next day I'll come back and just try to figure it out with a new set of eyes and a night's sleep. So it usually just depends on like the routine that best works for the person. And I realize that works best for me just because I will literally, like you said, not waste time, but time would just get away from me.
And when you were talking about the fact that you built your confidence, it seems kind of crazy to me, but someone like Jerry Seinfeld, for example, he works in the same way where he just sets a block of time. And if he does the work, then he's achieved.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some thought that even if you're writing something, whether it's code or something else, you stop mid-sentence and come back. And that's actually better for us mentally to do that. It seems crazy to me because I'd like to finish things, but apparently that's a really good way of working.
Oh, yeah. But I agree with you. Like, I love finishing things. And that was the biggest hurdle is...
Because you can really beat yourself up, can't you?
Yep, exactly. And that is the thing. Like, I kept beating myself like, oh, man, I feel like I haven't done nothing today, but I've been working for like 6 hours. But what helped me with it is the beginning of the week or like Sunday evening, I just think to myself, what do I think is feasible to accomplish this week? So I name my top 3 things I want to accomplish and then 2 things that I also want to accomplish if I have time. Like just quick, easy wins. And I give myself a whole week to like try to work on it because each day is a different day. So one thing could happen one day that can block off 8 hours of my day. The other day, I might have like 10 hours free, not doing anything. So I don't necessarily beat myself up as much as I used to, just because I give myself that freedom of like, this is the only things that I need to accomplish this week.
And do you eat the frog? Do you do the most difficult thing first? Or do you try to knock off the easy things?
It depends on the time that I have. So like Mondays and Tuesdays are like one of my most busiest days to just have meetings. So I don't necessarily start with the hardest things. I start with the things that I could stop and start pretty easily, like the social media aspect of it. That's when I try to handle it on the earlier part of the week, just because it's not easy, but it's easier to stop that than stop and start code, in my opinion. So I try to knock that off, and then near the end of the week, I usually have a lot more free time, so I try to tackle the biggest things then.
What is the impact you want to have with the app?
I just want working out to be accessible. Like, if you want to work out, you can. Like, for me, I played American football, so we started lifting weights when I was like 13, 14. So, like, they taught us the right form, they taught us the workouts, they taught us all this. And so my foundation was set from just going to school. But my brother, he never worked out a day in his life. And he tried to get into fitness last year, and he was looking at YouTube videos of how to bench and how to squat and do all this stuff. But when he went to the gym, he kept asking me, hey, is this Belal, is this form right? How do I know how much weight to do? Is this normal? So like the entry level for a beginner is a lot harder than someone who used to work out. So having someone to, just show you or be like, hey, I would recommend this, or this is what I'm doing, X, Y, and Z. It just helps the entry into fitness being a lot less scary and a lot more accessible.
So it sounds like you're almost looking to create mentor-mentee type relationships.
Oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's a big goal. And also just to simplify that goal is just to have someone to work out with. Because I've been working out with the same group of friends since I was like 18, 19. And I noticed working out alone is a lot different than working out by yourself. And I know if I'm having that problem, I'm not the biggest gym person, but if I knew if I'm having that problem, other people to have that same problem as well. Just because, you can talk and meet someone at the gym, but how often is that? Because everyone has their headphones in, everyone is zoned out. So just having the barrier of entry, just trying to resolve that is the biggest thing I'm trying to do with this app.
And what is the ratio of women to men?
I was pretty surprised about the ratio because it wasn't as one-sided as I would have thought.
Were you thinking it was going to be more male?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like 85% male, 15% women. But it was surprisingly a lot better than that. It was 62% men, 36% women.
Okay. I think it's interesting how times have changed and strength has become more important for women.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of women just don't know how.
No, and I agree.
Going to the gym, standing in front of the equipment, no idea how to use it.
No, I agree. Just because I have a little sister as well. And, I invited her to the gym with me one time, but she was just like, yeah, I don't like your workouts. Your workouts just like big meathead workouts. I need like someone that want to work out the body parts I want to work on. And so I realized there is a big difference between female and male like workout routines based off of just my talking with my sister and a few friends.
So what do you see those differences as being?
Like, with me and my friends, I wouldn't say we ego lift, but we do lift a lot heavier and a lot more, like quote unquote, like meathead workouts.
So do you see that there might be a need to split the app in two for those two different audiences?
Not necessarily. And the only reason why I say that is there is a lot of women that works out with men. Like there is like I met a person named Chris, and she's one of the first users of the app. And I'm also on the app, and she hit me up one day and we did a workout, and I couldn't there was no difference between me working out with a man or a woman. Like it just felt the same.
And how comfortable are people just turning up in that situation?
I went on 10 different workouts with people, and I'll say probably only one person didn't show up. It was snowing in Denver, so we just didn't work out. But because the biggest thing was people's safety was my biggest problem to try to face. But they're meeting at public gyms. There's no private gyms that I'm aware of around the Denver area. So I just preference it just to meet at the gym and not at the house or somewhere like that.
Yeah. And what about insurance then?
Yeah. So we're set up as an LLC, and we just have business insurance through there. I have an advisor, so he told me that was the first thing I had to do.
And where did you find your advisor?
Denver is pretty big on the startup scene. So, there's like a Reddit forums and stuff, for Denver startups and stuff of that nature. So when I first moved here, I was really trying to get into the startup scene just to figure out, how someone has an idea and creates it into a business. So I just go to these startup events, and it's all of them are free. And they have like founders and, old CEOs of companies that come and just speak to the group or even have a panel sometimes, and you can ask questions just about the process of how they got from A to B. So like just going to these events, one of the questions I had was, how do you get a mentor? And, they gave me like a website called Score. Uh, Score, they give like, they have free mentorships, but also like, after I asked that, like we had like a little networking session after the panel, and people just coming up to me and were telling me how they found their mentors, or like if I need any help, here's my email, feel free to reach out, X, Y, and Z.
And do you meet on a regular basis, or you just reach out whenever you need?
In the beginning, it was a lot regular. It was like once every week. Then we moved to once every 2 weeks, and now we just meet like once a month. But obviously, like I could reach out to my mentor anytime, just over email or anything like that to ask any questions.
And why do you think that person mentors you?
I'm not sure. Like I know for me, like I love helping people in the sense because let's say it took me 3 years to figure this out, and if you're going down the same path, and I can tell you what helped me, and it saves you 2.5 years, and you solve it and you figure it out in 6 months, I'm more than happy to help you out. And that is the vibe that I get with just the startup scene out here. People are, pretty kind and pretty nice. And yeah, and that's what I just hope. Like, he never asked me for anything. I've known him since 2021. Like, the only thing that he would ask me is if he has an issue with like a computer or something, he might reach out to me, be like, hey, Belal, could you help me out with this X, Y, or Z? But it's, that's about it. Like it's no monetary funds being exchanged.
Is there anything that you wish you had known when you started out on this journey?
The biggest thing is not to be afraid to just jump in. Like I know I was like reading books and reading articles online about like how to create a startup and X, Y, or Z. And there isn't like a solid blueprint of how to create a business. Like you just need to do it. And there's also like, so there's a great resources of things that you need before you start a business, like an LLC, insurance, stuff of that nature. But don't waste so much time in figuring out how to do it, and just do it. It's probably the biggest thing that I wish I knew before doing.
Belal's app is more than a fitness app. It creates a space where seasoned professionals and newbies can come together to benefit from each other's experiences. And I think we could do with more of that. Don't you?
Now, dear listener, it's your turn. Have you got something to add to the conversation? Then get in touch via the links in the show notes. Whether you have questions, a message of support, or resources that you think might help, we'd love to hear from you. And if by chance you know someone with a story that will inspire others, be sure to let us know. Your contributions help turn inspiration into action, drive positive change, and make life just that little bit better. And if this conversation inspired you to expand your worldview, head to HelloHuman.global to join the conversation.